During this video, I'm going to go over the idea that I had with us implementing Freckle, and if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out to me and I will answer questions to the best of my ability. Some things that jumped out to me when we were having our meeting on this was that Freckle takes a while to level students, so the more data we can collect with them, the more accurately they will be represented. I heard people say that they preferred Wednesdays. It could be a little more relaxing for students to complete a couple modules, and we wouldn't have to prep for Wednesdays because we would know we would always be doing Freckle. I heard that when teachers were unsure of maybe how to collaborate or how to implement this within their classroom so that they can make sure that the English and math teachers do get the data that we are having our students collect. And then if there's finding a way where students can be held accountable for actually completing these weekly Wednesday assignments. I think the key in making this successful is to have when teachers push out assignments from Freckle that are already made. They have a lot of suggested content on there already. We do not have to assign them specific things, but we can guide them on what to do. And obviously, if one of the content teachers reaches out to us saying that they're seeing a lot of struggles with, let's say, ratios and proportions, we can always put a focus on that. So I just ran Freckle today with my students, and I used this document first. I wanted them to tell me what their placement was. So I went under math, ratio, and proportions, and I had them take a picture of what their placement was, and then insert it in this box. And I did the same thing with English, but specifically word study. I had them take a picture of what placement they got and put it in this box, and I will show you that in a couple of seconds. In the future, I'm going to use these reports where I will tell students which module to go on so that they're all working on the same one and building the same skill, and I will have them insert before and after images. I can do that now that they have been placed. They can tell me or show me what their before level was versus what their after level was. And I was originally thinking of having 4 modules, 2 for math, 2 for English. However, after today, I think it would be better to do one of each, where we can kind of discuss which skills we believe students should be focusing on during their 7th grade work. So when students are actually on the website, this is what they see. What I did today was we went to math and we clicked on adaptive math right here, and I had them fill out ratios and proportions. So beforehand, it gives you an entrance test which places you level-wise. So after they take that entrance test, their screen is going to look like this, and they're going to see what level they are and what levels they placed out of. So I had a couple students place into a 2, so that means they're back there. They will build their way all up to the final level, which is 12, and this should take a decent amount of time. There are more math skills that students can go through, but I do believe that we would have to give time for them to place into them first, the same way I had them place into ratios and proportionings. So if you're going to start Freckle, I suggest having the first day being, what is your placement? And we can do the same with English. When they move over to English, I had them complete word study, and word study gave them an entrance test. It was titled a pretest, where they take it and then it tells them what their place is, and we can utilize that. So what we can also do is in English there's skills practice, and we would have to create a pretest to do it. So the important thing is we have visuals where students can take screenshots and put them in this template to show us their progress from that day. And if we are ever requested the data from their teacher to see if they're keeping up with the work and practicing, we can provide that by looking back here. But we do not have to look at everybody's and grade them ourselves. It's more so we can keep records. It's very simple to collaborate with other teachers. I do not know the extent of how it works yet, but I do know how we can do it. So what I did was I gave my students this template where I filled out their names to the left. An example of it filled looks like this, where I have every student, and then they filled in who their teachers were. There were a couple that didn't, but that was easy to look up on my own. And then after I do that, I can implement it on the Freckle website. When you're on a teacher view, you can go to roster. This will open up your rosters. I already have both my classes added, but when you add a new class, you can click on the import from Google Classroom, sign in with Google. It will prompt you for your sign in, and then you can just select which one you want to add in, scroll down and hit the next button, and it will add them in for you. In order to share these students with their other teachers, their English and math teachers, you're going to go to settings, you're going to hit share/transfer. We're going to share, not transfer them, because we still have them in our class, with a teacher on Freckle, because I believe we are all on there. And the good thing about this is you can pick every student who has a specific teacher and assign them all to that teacher at the same time. So I could pick every student and then let's say assign them to one teacher. So you will only have to do this about 3 times with different teachers. I believe if a teacher has never used Freckle before, it will show up as you cannot share with them. That's an easy fix. We can just email them to create an account so that we can share the data. I believe it shares our data, so I do not know if you will have to make a separate class for my data versus your data, or if it will be all collected in the same report. A way to look at your reports is to click the drop down and you can hit reports here. Math levels is what's going to allow you to see their levels for everything, so I can see in ratios and proportions. Someone actually went down 2 levels, someone went up 2 levels, so it shows me that they've leveled and then they're practicing. And then I believe if you want to see what they did for that day, you would go to reports and hit report card, and it'll tell you today they've answered how many questions correctly. So you can make sure that they have been on today. Same thing with English. You would hit the drop down, hit reports. You can look at their English levels. I'm not going to see anything here. I would have to switch to word study levels because I had them do word study. And then I can see all the levels in which they got for word study. A lot of them were very similar. And then I can also go to report cards, ELA report cards, and I'm not sure how to check if you can view it by whether they did it today or not on this. That's one thing I will have to look into. And then the final piece of information I thought would be helpful was if we created a Freckle topic on our Google Classroom. It will keep everything organized. It'll all be in the same place. So if I go under my Win 7D block class and I go to classwork, every assignment I give through Freckle, this was them telling me who their teachers were, this was what we did today, and this could potentially be a future assignment. That's where I'll have them all saved, so if any teacher ever reaches out to me for information, I will know to just look in this topic of where it is, and I'll always keep it at the top so I know where it is. And then I provide an example for anybody who needs it. That's all I have on this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities. I will get the information on what collaborating actually looks like through the other teacher's perspective, and hopefully we can implement this in a good way soon. So thank you.